story. A Hot Springs family hopes to find some answers to something that's haunted them for nearly 30 years.
Your news and weather in the first 11 minutes. 11 on 11. The THV 10 o'clock difference.
I need to get on with my life. I need closure for myself.
28 years after his mother was murdered, an Arkansas man is hoping DNA evidence will lead investigators to her killer. Good evening, I'm Andy Pearson. Karen is off tonight. A Hot Springs man calls it a long shot. Toby Edwards and his sister are asking for permission tonight to exhume the body of their murdered mother in hopes that DNA evidence will point to her killer. Chris Shaw in the newsroom with the latest on the family's nearly 30-year search for justice. Chris?
Yeah, Andy, in 1976, Edwards and his sister were 5 and 6 years old. Their mother left them home alone one night to go to work, and she never returned. 6 months later, Linda Edwards was found dead near Jack Mountain in Hot Spring County. For her children, this is just the latest and maybe last chance to find her killer.
He tries, Toby Edwards can't brush aside his feelings.
It was a very hard decision.
And so after a lot of thought, he decided to ask to have his mother's body exhumed out of hope.
For any potential DNA evidence that they could possibly find.
That technology wasn't available 28 years ago when the Garland County dispatcher and mother of 2 was murdered. This man, Thurman Abernathy, a detective with the Garland County Sheriff's Office at the time, was charged in her death. A judge threw the case out later for lack of evidence. There was no evidence where the body was found because Linda Edwards' body was in these woods for 6 months before it was discovered. Edwards knows there might not be enough DNA left to make it possible now.
Even if nothing comes out of it, if I know that I've done everything I possibly could do, maybe I can move on.
Which has been hard for Toby and his sister Kim. When they visit Linda's headstone, they read a poem she wrote. The first line, "Are you held by the past?" is eerily similar to the lives they've been leading and the unanswered questions about her violent death.
I think she struggled too, and that's what played in my mind, the struggling. And nobody should have to go through that, and it's just time for something to happen.
A county judge now has to approve the exhumation. If that happens, it may only be a matter of weeks before DNA samples can be taken. Andy?
Thank you, Chris. Originally, we did this story in August of 2000. The family says prosecutor Eddie Easley had promised them the county would pay for the exhumation, a promise he repeated to us last month. It's not clear whether he'll make good on that promise now.